Welcome, episode
Hello.
58. And we have a special guest again today that we are going to talk about Edge AI with Intel Open Vino. So welcome, David, and welcome, Christian. How are you doing today?
Hello.
Hey, I'm good. Mark, the audience already knows us.
Exactly.
So we'll just say quick hellos. Hi, David, developer advocate.
Mark
Mark down here.
Developer advocate, but
let's get the. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's have Christian introduce himself. Welcome to IoT Happy Hour, Christian.
Hello. So I'm Christian. I'm new to Balena. I just joined a couple of weeks ago. I'll be doing robotics. I'll be doing AI and related stuff. So you're probably going to see me again here at some point.
Nice.
Well, that's only if you do good and we invite you back.
Exactly.
No, I'm teasing.
Yeah, but now
No, I am teasing, of course. But yeah, we are super excited to have you. We've dabbled with some AI and robotics in the past. Mark, what episode was it? You always know the episode numbers. We showed off.
Maybe it was like 12 episodes ago.
I don't know.
46?
Yeah, I don't know. But we've
maybe
done.
Someone in the audience can check.
Yeah, someone will know. But yeah, we've done. Let's see. We had the introduction to ROS containers. Maybe a month, 2 months back. And we've done some Jetson content. We've done some other AI projects, such as Open Data Cam, of course. But today we're going to be talking OpenVINO running on Intel hardware, like this Nook that I have sitting right next to me. And I'm going to show
the
off.
NUCs or the x86 are like the second most used devices.
Mm-hmm. We talked about that a couple of weeks back. Also, when we flashed my x86 Visi AI and your x86 Advantech board live, which I think we had to say a couple of prayers to the demo deities that day, but we made it through that one. We better say our prayers to the demo gods today as well, because I've got a couple things lined up for us. And let's, I shot JR says it was episode 46.
It missed by 10.
Yeah, wow, we're way off. Well, we better revisit that topic then. And welcome Julian from Bucharest. And that's actually a good quick note. Christian, where are you joining from?
I'm joining from Bucharest. Forgot to add that little flag there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's, I think, 3 or 4 folks now that we have in Romania.
Four, I think.
Yeah, I think 4. Yeah. So very cool. Romania climbing the charts on our list of countries represented. All right.
And before we get into what's on your desk, you missed that completely today, because today there is a new job posted.
There is. Well, I just woke up. It's the morning here.
Yeah. So we are hiring a fleet reliability engineer. That I don't know, what does it mean?
Posted today. I don't know what it means either. I just woke up. I'm having my coffee. What is it, Mark?
So identify user needs and patterns in feedback, lead the shift away from reactive support to preventive maintenance, help brainstorm long-term solutions, contribute on documentations, and participate on customer support. So looks like interesting position to be part of Balena.
Yeah, very cool. And I think there's still a couple of other postings there as well, right? What else is on that list? You've got your screen share still on? Yes.
Yeah. So we have a full stack engineer, remote technical sales lead in EMEA or America, an SRIE, site reliability engineer, EMEA and America, and design your own role. I don't know, Christian, how did you join Balena? Design your own role, or?
Yeah.
Did you really?
I did find the posting from like 2 years ago of a hardware hacker in residence. So I knew that there's people doing that.
Mhm.
So I just there was this. I was flashing an SD card. Gave me an ad to Balena Sound. Deployed Balena Sound, and then got into applying for Balena. So yeah.
So you apply on design your own role.
Yeah.
So another successful design your own role candidate. We've talked about this in the past.
Exactly.
I think
people, this works.
Yeah, absolutely. That is super cool to hear. Yes, the hardware hacker team, hardware hacker in residence that you mentioned, they are frequent guests. We lost Mark. Well, he'll be back. No problem. They are frequent guests on the show, Christian. The whole team, I think, has been on at some point or another. Alan's been on numerous times. Chris has been on. Phil has been on. Rahul, I think, has been on. Tomas has been on. Yep. So yeah, you'll be joining us. I was just teasing earlier. All right. So I was gonna say let's do what's up. Mark is back. Okay.
Sorry, I got a visitor.
Oh, that's okay. I just, hey, whatever. Maybe the internet dies. You never know. All right. So let's do this. I think we are ready to get into what's on your desk. I can only imagine what might be on Christian's desk, but I'm going to kick us off. Mark, should we make the newbie sing? Or should we just go digital?
He told me that he already watched some IoT Happy Hour episodes, so probably he already knows.
Do you know? Let's start with that. Do you know the song, Christian? Do you know
the jingle?
Yeah, the jingle.
What's on your desk? Bam, 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 bam thing. But yeah, no, I don't remember the notes.
Oh, that was all right. Never mind. That was not a good. That was not a good rendition. All right, we'll go digital. We'll get digital.
But you prefer like the normal one or a Christmas one?
It's not July yet, so no, not Christmas. Regular.
What's on your desk?
Okay, that sounds more like it.
Yeah, that's more like it. I saw JR saying sing it. David Heron is saying lost you all. I think we're still.
I didn't lose you.
I didn't lose anyone either. I think we're okay. StreamYard says we're okay. YouTube says we're okay. All right.
Christian, what's on your desk?
So what's on my desk? Well, there's a Pi here.
Okay.
Pi 4.
There's the Pi 4. There's a Balena fin with some added cellular modem that I found in an old laptop. Which
wait. Hold that up. Hold that up closer. What modem is in there?
No clue. I found it in an old ThinkPad, so we'll have to figure that out.
All right, we'll test
Maybe
that.
we should do like things that you find on MPCIEs that you find on a box.
Yeah, things you find in a box is another good.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
There's the RealSense, keeping with the Intel theme.
Hold that up. Hold on, it's going too fast. That is a D. What is it?
415.
Okay, neat. I don't know if we have any ready-made turnkey projects for that, so we may have to spend some time. Exactly. So we'll spend some time on that in the future. All right. Very cool. Anything else over there?
Not anything interesting. So.
Okay. All right, Mark. You got anything on your desk this week?
Yeah, I received a package with a new modem. No, from China, but like a new modem that I'm testing on the fin.
Okay, which one is that?
It's a Simcom.
7600, I can see it. 7600G.
Yeah, as most of the people know, there is a chip shortage, and we are testing new modems. So I'm testing this one, and it worked. And the magic thing is that it didn't happen to me. All the modems that I test had SIM card holder on it, the MPCIEs, but this one no. So I used the SIM card holder from the fin, and it works automatically.
Automatically?
Surprised. Yeah, automatically. Yeah, and it works.
Nice. All right. Well, I only have one thing on my desk. I actually have two things, one of which is the NUC. but we're going to get to that in a moment. The thing I'll show right now, though, I heard that there's, of course, the chip shortage, but now I heard that STM32s are a hot commodity and hard to get a hold of. I heard these are worth a lot of money now. So I'm thinking about buying a soldering iron. And if I can get this off of here, I think I'm rich. So, yeah.
How many you have of these?
I have one. I have a total of one. So I think I'm ready to retire.
I don't know if this is like a Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. Not quite.
Don't know.
but-
I didn't check eBay. Maybe.
Yeah,
it's a
check
bit,
to see. I thought that the STM32s were. I don't know how to get this back.
Maybe
on.
a George needs one.
Yeah, he'll know.
So what's that?
This is. I found finally my first.
Oh,
it's a
LoRa.
LoRa hat.
Nice.
Semtech.
And this is compatible in the US
And
or
Grove. Yeah, this is a US one, and it goes on to.
this is like for Arduino? Like an Arduino form
Yes.
factor, or?
Well, I don't know if it's exactly the same form factor, and I also don't know how to get it back. Oh, I have it backwards. That's why. User error. Yeah, so there we go.
Nice. Yeah, you can decide to have like your first LoRa node, or as Arijit
Or
is
get
saying
rich.
on the chat.
Yeah,
They are
selling
selling
like
us
gold. Like
gold.
gold. I don't know. I'm going to get a soldering iron, and I'm going to get
Wow.
that
You can
STM32
do
off
that
of there.
live.
Yeah. So I don't know if
It's not like I don't trust your skills, but please don't unsolder that with a soldering iron.
We're going to do it live on IoT Happy. Well, no, I probably need the LoRa node in order to test because we'll have gateway projects in the near future too that I need to test. So I might need it. All right. Well, I was on
We
the
are just
maker
talking
show.
about this maker show Intel last night. Okay.
The
I'm always
STM32.
missing that. It's
Yeah.
too late for me.
Yeah, it's a little late. Well, it's a bad time here with the kids. I missed it as well, but I'll catch the recording of that. All right.
What are we going to talk today?
Let's
What you're
get
going to
into
show
it.
us?
I'm going to go through some Intel OpenVINO demonstrations. And I'm going to focus on using an Intel NUC. This is a current one. This is an 11th generation NUC, but we did test this backwards to a 7th gen NUC yesterday, and it did work on that one as well. So somewhere between the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th gens, these demos that I'm going to show off should work. But the backstory here is that I've started to do some experimentation, like I said, with the OpenVINO project toolkit. And this is mostly work in progress, but I thought it would be neat to hack on and kind of show off where we're at, just sort of current status. I've been working on it for a couple of weeks. I mean, Mark, what was it? Probably 2 or 3 episodes ago when I showed the NUC for the first time. It arrived here. It was, what's on your desk was, well, I got an Intel NUC. And then, past week or two, I've said, I've been hacking on, working on the NUC. So I thought, hey, let's take this week to show what I've been up to, where I'm at. And I had the conversation with Christian yesterday, and he was saying how he's going to be working on AI, ML, and robotics projects. So I thought it would be good to bring some of his expertise into the conversation as well. So let's take a quick dive in here. I'm going to start by giving a high-level explanation and sort of an overview of, let's talk about what is OpenVINO. Let's start there, get just a basic understanding first. So let me get my screen share on.
I'm always confusing if Intel OpenVINO is just a USB stick, or that USB stick is something else, or
Exactly. So let's start with some of the basics here. Where is my screen share? Coming in now. It should be coming in now. Come on. There it goes. All right.
All right.
So OpenVINO is actually the toolkit and the framework and the set of applications and utilities end-to-end that will allow you to deploy and make use of your, you can see here, deep learning, call it AI, call it machine learning, call it some, neural networks, computer vision. How you go about, the different pieces of it is sort of up to you, but it's the framework, it is the bundle that allows you to deploy these AI projects, build and deploy your AI projects. So you can kind of see here, they have this right off the bat. You have your underlying technology that is going to be the basis for your AI project. And Christian, you can stop me at any point if I if I get something wrong. Feel free to dive in, interject, tell me no, you're wrong. But and then the OpenVINO piece of the puzzle is for the building of the model, training of the model, and deploying of the model. And you can see it can be deployed to Windows, Linux, or Mac. What your target endpoint is, your hardware is kind of up to you. And you can see also they're showing off that it runs on Core, runs on Xeon, runs on Atom. They've also got Iris here, that's GPU. And so to your question, Mark, about is it a stick? Well, not really. They do produce a stick that is a dedicated AI accelerator piece of hardware. OpenVINO and the models that you build will then run on this stick, but you can also run them on CPUs or GPUs. Thanks, perfect, Mark. So the OpenVINO Toolkit, then, like I'm saying, is the all-inclusive, and you can see, build, optimize, deploy for your, call it application then. And let me come over here to this workflow that they've got, which is pretty standard. Makes a lot of sense. You have your prerequisites, get your host platform, which I'm using just my MacBook for development on. Target platform, what is your end device going to be? In my case, a NUC. And start thinking about what models, what frameworks, what applications you're going to be running. We will go through some of that throughout the rest of the stream here.
Right. So one of the things about Vino that's really interesting is that you have the same model you're running, right? Maybe it's pedestrian detection or something, and you are able to develop that on your GPU. Like when you're developing, you're using the GPU in your laptop, or maybe not in your laptop because that's a bit low powered, but anyway. And then you can move to deploy to either a platform like Movidius, which is a USB stick you can use with a Raspberry Pi. So yeah, this and that's it. But you can also scale it to, for example, they have this Phi series, which are just like GPUs. They look like GPUs. They cost as much as a GPU. But thing is, they're just PCI Express based accelerators. So if you'd be to deploy pedestrian detection in the busiest intersection in New York, you would have a rack mount server that runs the same model as you would run on your tiny stick on multiple GPUs. And to you as a developer, it's basically the same experience. So that's what's great about OpenVINO.
Awesome. That's super cool. I didn't even realize that, but now that you've explained it in that manner, that makes total sense. That's pretty powerful stuff right there.
Yeah, so it abstracts away the whole scaling problem for you.
Neat. So of course, next step is doing your training. They offer, and we're going to get into this in a few minutes, but they offer a whole load of pre-trained models, or you can, of course, build your own from scratch. And there's documentation on that as well. I don't know if we'll dive into that per se today, but and then next is convert and optimize. So this is preparing your model, getting it ready to run on the target hardware, tune for performance, knowing a little bit about where the model's going to end up. But like you said, the scaling factor is pretty much solved for, and then deploying. Anything else there, Christian?
No, I think we covered most of it.
Yep. Okay. So the installation process is very well documented in the OpenVINO documentation website. Now, you have to, like we talked about just a moment ago, is think through a little bit about where is it going to run on your target device. And so you can see they have it available for Linux hosts, Windows hosts, Mac, Raspberry Pi, or you had mentioned there's some other accelerators available as well, like FPGAs and the VPUs from the Movidia stick, of course, or the Xeon Phi that you mentioned. I, for this example, knew that I was going to be installing into a Linux Ubuntu container. So just having a quick look at their getting started with OpenVINO Toolkit on Linux, I was able to see that the toolkit itself includes pretty much everything you need. Inference engine, the model optimizer, there's demos. That's what we're going to show off today. Say your prayers. Some code samples that are already in there as well. And the installation process itself was pretty simple. Now, this documentation, actually, where is it? Hang on.
We have a guest.
We have another special guest. Surprise!
Hello.
Hey, Kenna, how are you?
Yeah, we have another special guest.
Good. Maybe, introduce yourself. We are in the middle of an OpenVINO.
Yeah. Kenna's got some stuff that she's going to show too. But go ahead and introduce yourself, Kenna.
Sure. So I'm Kenna with Balena, which our CEO teases me that whenever I put my name like this, it's Kenna Balena. So I feel like we have a Balena situation happening. But yeah, so I am with the customer success team, and I just happened to have learned American Sign Language when I was in school. And so when I heard David was doing this demo, I was like, I have to see this.
We didn't say what the demo was going to be yet. She just spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Sorry. I didn't say anything. It's about it's all about Tetris, guys. That was a joke.
That's okay. Mark, if you can get, there we go. Perfect. So I had found real quick so just coming back to where I was real fast. So here's the instructions on how to install it using APT repositories. And like I said, I was going to use an Ubuntu container, and everything was ready to go. You just basically set up a GPG key, and you can go through and apt-get install OpenVINO, essentially. I brought it into the container, and we'll take a look at the Docker file in just a moment. But it basically all worked right out of the box. So with that said, we need to also cover a few more bits and pieces before we can actually fire up the demo. And I see, I can't believe I love the Tetris pillows. Okay. Having OpenVINO available is all well and good if you are a subject matter expert and can take it and can run with it, like Christian right above me. Everything he needs is in there to be able to build from scratch, end-to-end, his AI application. Me, however, I'm not exactly a subject matter expert, and I need a little bit of guidance in getting started and building blocks. And for that, Intel has The Open Vino project is also community supported, so this might also be a bit community supported in conjunction with Intel. But they have the Open Model Zoo, and this repository is full of pre-trained models, public models, a downloader to get the models, demo applications, sample applications to run, like object detection, semantic segmentation, gesture recognition, there's colorization, there are speech to text. There's a whole load of things in here. We'll take a glance at a few of them, and some other bits and pieces. I'm going to come up here real quick, and we'll start off actually talking about the models. Let's start with those real quick. So you can see that there are some face detection models, person detection, there's vehicle detection, person, vehicle, and
it's
bike.
already a generated
these are
machine learning model? Or?
Trained. Yep, these are trained and ready to go. License plate, head pose estimation, age and gender, person re-identification. Then we get into the semantic segmentation, human pose estimation, text detection. These are all the models themselves. These are pre-trained, ready to be deployed. Now, the model itself can be swapped around in and out from the sample application. So we have to think about it from two different pieces. There is a sample application, that's in the terminology that we'll go to next, the demo, and the model. So you can use the same sample application, for example, object detection. And using object detection, you can swap the model, which has been trained a little bit differently, might have more or less accuracy, might be larger or smaller, might be able to detect certain things. So let's come back up to the top, and then we can go look at the
We have a question
demos.
from David.
We got a question. Why is an ASL interpreter interested in this? Hold that thought, David. Hang on. We'll get to that. We're getting there. I promise. I'll talk fast. And so here in the demos directory are all of the demos that are ready-made to go. And some of them are in C++ and some are in Python. So you've got some samples, depending upon your choice. But there's the human pose estimation, interactive face detection, you can see there. Machine translation is an interesting one for translating from English to German to Russian. Pedestrian tracking, here's object detection, smart classroom, sound classification, text spotting is neat. So there's classroom. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. I think it has something to do with our children paying attention or not. I'll have to try it out on my kids. So, you have a lot of ready-made sample applications to choose from as well. Gaze estimation is neat. It tries to pinpoint which direction you are looking.
Maybe this is for retail. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
right?
for retail. Yeah, exactly.
Or online exams.
Oh, exams?
Online exams have a lot of that, yeah.
Oh.
Smart classroom, right? With gaze estimation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, what are they looking at? Are they cheating? So let's see. I saw a question from Arajit real quickly here. Could you have even done pip install OpenVINO? That should have also worked, I guess. That might have, in fact, worked. I just did a quick apt-get install because it brought in all of the pip would ultimately do that too, I suppose. But yeah, it brought everything in via apt-get. I guess I'm old school.
Here, a small note here.
Go ahead.
The pip would install only the runtime libraries that Python needs for that. but the whole inference engine stuff, or that kind of the stuff that accesses hardware, so like either the videos or the GPU or the CPU, that has to be installed. That there's some kernel modules there, so you have to install it on your operating system first, and then use pip to get the libraries for Python, or compile your own if you're going with C++. But the pip package is just a tiny part of the whole that you need to be able to run this.
Ah, thank you, Christian. Awesome. Very neat. Good answer. So, and UDev rules too, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did not do anything UDev related here because on this one, I'm running on the CPU and also have a privileged container. It can just simply access everything it needs. But that is absolutely true, AB. You got to make sure that your container has access to everything that it needs. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to switch my screen share real quickly, but just for the moment, you can see that I've got my NUC connected to balenaCloud, and I've got some log streaming off of it, and it's doing something, but I don't know what it is exactly quite yet. So let's go have a look at my camera instead. So let me stop.
You don't want to show your Docker Compose or?
You know what? Yeah, I was gonna. Let me show what it's doing first, and then we'll circle around to that.
Maybe it's yellow.
Yeah. All right, now share. So actually what I'm going to share is, I'll tell you what's been working great, Mark. You need to get one of these, is the HDMI to USB capture. Because
you know that I buy one.
Did you? Or are you going to get one?
Yeah, I bought one, but I got confused by Amazon, and it's...
Uh-oh. Cable and adapter. Oh, I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
but
me neither. So
here's a bird's eye view. I've got a camera up here attached to the NUC right here. I have my HDMI out going into my USB adapter plugged into the laptop. And so this model here on this application is object detection, and it's detecting me as a human. Blurry Cam is retired. No, Blurry Cam is not retired. Blurry Cam is over here, but I had to use my last remaining USB port for this for this HDMI input. All right, so just simply showing it's up there, it's working, the NUC to the camera, and the inferencing being done. Now let's take a look at the Docker file that's making all of this happen. That is, well, actually, good question. Where is it? Is on this repo. And I dropped this repo into the playground. Oh, thanks, Mark.
It's the OpenVINO, right?
Yeah, balena-OpenVINO. And I've got my Docker Compose sitting in the root, and the folder OpenVINO contains the Docker file. It's pretty simple, really. So what we're doing is an apt-get for some basic utilities, bring in Python and pip. There's our apt-get on the OpenVINO application stack. Here is the desktop I'm bringing in, which is X server and XFCE4. Need that for the the video output there. Doing a quick pip install on NumPy, SciPy, and PyYAML. And now here's where it gets a little bit interesting. I'm using the model downloader that I talked about just briefly for a moment earlier, and I'm bringing down product detection 01 at the moment, or I'll just say on that line, pedestrian detection, and human pose estimation. I'm bringing down only those 3 models. You saw in the Open Model Zoo lots of different models. I'm only bringing in 3 of them to keep my container size small, just for demo purposes.
So you tested all of them, right?
I test all of
one
these.
by one?
No, I have not tested.
Select 3.
I have not tested all of these because there are a lot of them. But that's the whole point, right? I didn't want to bring in every single one of them for purposes of a demo because that could be 10, 20, 30 gigs. I wanted to keep my container size small. Anyone out there can swap out these lines and bring in only the models that they need or want to test. And then finally is my startup script at the end. We'll take a quick glance at that as well. The startup script consists of exporting the display, starting the desktop, sourcing the setup file, and then Python 3. And I've got in here, you'll notice I used a variable for demo and for model. And one other little thing here called architecture type, and we'll show that those variables in a moment. But ultimately, the point is you just need to run your Python. And all of these are documented in each application. They've got a really good documentation per sample application. So for example, object detection, which is detecting me as we speak, all of your flags to make use of are documented in here. And so for example, your input, which is on my case /dev/video0, your device to make use of, whether it's CPU, GPU, or Myriad, which is the accelerator stick, and some other options to make use of as well. And the model is defined in here also, -M for model. So you can see that in my case, I have model set to a variable, but you can just define it right at the very end. So
nice.
Yeah. So let's take a closer look at it in action now. Let's do this. What's AB saying? David would lose all his hair. Yeah, probably. Let's see here. Now bring this back. Hey, did we lose Christian? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's all right. He'll be back. Now back to sharing. Oh, you know what? I might have to do. All right, this might get a little small. Let's try this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show both at the same time. Well, we can kind of make it out.
Nice.
You know what? Let me
How do you do
about this. Well, so that I just shared the whole monitor, but I don't know. It might be too small. Let's take a.
Can you do the browser bigger?
It's actually the other one that I want a little bit larger. Let's see if we can make this bigger. Increase. Yeah, we'll lose some resolution, but that's okay. So at the moment, we've got, and now let me make this a little bigger as well. Is this text gonna, uh-oh, this text might not. Yeah, there it goes. All right. So because I used those variables, we can come over here on the device and take a look at my 3 variables that I have sitting in that startup script. And we saw there was demo. What demo am I running? What model am I using? And this architecture type is sort of like an underlying framework. Christian, are you back? Can you explain the difference between like an SSD or now I'm struggling. I can't think of even any others at the moment.
YOLO.
But yeah, YOLO, ResNet, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know exactly under
That's
the
okay.
like to the lowest level how they work. I know SSD stands for single shot box detector or something.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, but I could not tell you what what those things mean necessarily. I know YOLO because I used it myself a couple of years ago, and YOLO is a really interesting architecture. Stands for you only look once. The idea is that these are all object detection networks, and they're all made in different ways. They're all, for example, YOLO basically creates puts like bounding boxes, just like the yellow one you have around you, puts them at random points in the view, and then starts taking them out based on the accuracy. So it's YOLO works a bit differently from the other ones. That's and it makes it and it's also written in C++, a network called Darknet. They're all kind of similar in a way. They're all deep neural nets that use the same functions. It's just that some architectures are different in some ways, and some are built. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right, so what I want to do in my documentation, remember I said that I had 3 models that I brought down. I only brought down the 3, just for demonstration purposes, but we can see at the moment that I'm running the object detection demo, and it is set to pedestrian detection. Well, I'm not exactly walking across a street, but I'm a pedestrian, I'm a human, it knows I'm a human. However, what I can do is swap out the model that it's using. And now here is where we're going to need to say our prayers to the demo gods. Everybody, make sure to say your prayers. What we should see in a moment is it restart. And now it doesn't know the first thing about me. Well, it shouldn't know the first thing about me, but it does recognize that Gatorade bottle. This model, so even though I'm still running object detection, the object detection Python application, by swapping out the model, this model was trained on, and it's actually in the OpenVINO Toolkit or Open Model Zoo repo. They trained it on Gatorade, Del Monte, canned vegetables, Pringles, potato chips, and a few others. I can't remember exactly. There was 10 or 11.
Are you kidding me?
No. And let's
Wow.
go ahead and bring in that ketchup. It knows ketchup also. It's also trained on ketchup. It did not, however, like...
Yeah, AB is pointing to the right direction. Yeah. All nice food.
Yeah. So this model doesn't know anything about humans, but it knows Gatorade and ketchup. So, but think about that. That's actually pretty neat, right? I just swapped out an AI model on the fly using the balenaCloud dashboard. I mean, okay, fine. I don't know. Do you really need to be in the business of detecting ketchup? I guess if you're a grocery store, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But so pretty.
It detects
pretty
brands or not?
You could probably train it on the labels. Yeah, I don't know. This one is a Hunt's. I don't know. Whatever Costco had on the shelf. This one is cheap store brand. But I mean, it's a red bottle about this big. It thinks it's ketchup. So let's come back here. Gatorade is the thing, exactly. Oops, wrong one. So now let's do something a little different though. And let's actually forget about object detection and let's do some pose detection. That could get interesting. So now I need to actually swap out the demo that I'm running and the demo of human pose estimation is not going to know the first thing about ketchup. So that model is not going to do me any good. Let's come over here and swap out the model also to a human pose estimation because Gatorade is really not going to help me with human pose estimation. And the very last thing is that SSD. We need to get rid of that too and move to the Open Pose framework architecture type. Now, again, say your prayers. Because this one, so what I've had a little problem with is my connectivity in here on my NUC. We may need to give this a minute for it to take effect, for the supervisor to reconnect, realize that I've made those changes, and update this for me. While we wait for that, Kenna, you still there?
I am.
You have an entirely different application running on yours, right?
I do. Yep.
And
which I'm not supposed to talk about, but I was not told that.
That's okay. Because now is the time to talk about it. So I'm going to wait for my device. Let me kill my screen share and we'll get yours on. And what is it, Kenna, that you have running on yours up there in Seattle?
Yeah, so, and this is all thanks to David who got me set up last night. But yeah, so we've got ASL detection model or an attempt at one. It technically detects signs, very specific signs. There are certain signs, just like the ketchup bottle and things like that. It's been trained to detect very specific signs. So that's what it does. There are about 50 that it's been trained on. But it can basically take camera input, and if you sign something that it thinks it recognizes, it will share the box and tell you what it thinks it's seeing. So that's what I've got. And I want to be clear. Somebody asked about interpreters. I just want to be really clear that I am not a sign language interpreter. That takes very serious accreditation that I do not have.
Yeah. My container did restart, so it took about a minute and a half. Not that bad. But
I'm gonna start calling you Stick Man now.
Yeah. So I swapped. I mean, literally just from the variables, though, we literally changed the AI application running on the device. And if I had a better Wi-Fi antenna, I think we could have gotten a little quicker, but pretty neat though, straight from the dashboard. So, all right, Kenna, sorry for the interruption.
Okay. I said what I needed to. So did you want me to hear it?
Well, so is it in the same room with you? Are you able to show it? I'm looking at the clock. We've got 9 minutes left, so we're good on time.
Okay.
Do you have it available?
I do, yeah. And so I'll set this up, and while I do it, so you'll see like a change. And hopefully you'll be able to see this, okay? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Let's make you larger. Hang on for a moment.
Sure. I can do it. Yeah.
Appreciate
I got it.
I'm sure.
Okay, so we can see you
Great.
coming off the camera feed, and I see a bounding box around you. Okay.
All
Yep.
right. So then there's some signs that it knows. So it knows hello. So you can see.
Nice.
It
What?
knows some basic things like table.
Whoa.
I like being friendly with it. So I said hello, friend, to it, and it liked that. And then you can say like good night. Sometimes it
I
recognizes
didn't
that.
get
Night.
night.
But it gets confused a little bit when you have hand signs similar. So like, oh, a new finish, that's cool. But like again is close to night. So sometimes it would get confused about those two. Yeah, so you see it said again, but this is night. So there's some things
Doctor.
confused about it.
Nice.
It's not night, yeah. Hungry, yeah. It likes the sign like, it can do that. So it does pretty well. But yeah, so anyway, just wanted to share that. Is there anything you wanted me to show, David, other than that?
No. That was it. I mean, that is actually really, really impressive. So thank you for that.
Super amazing.
And
David,
Go
do you
ahead.
mind me jumping in for just a second?
no,
So
go ahead, because I'm going
I
to grab
wanted
a
to say
link.
something about what's cool about this, but some like things to think about too is that so it's not just about recognizing words, but they're in sign languages. They are full languages. A lot of people think that they're actually just approximations of spoken languages, but they're not. But what makes that tricky from a technology perspective is there's things you have to accommodate, like dialects. And so, for instance, when I was learning sign language, I learned the sign for cool, which I learned it with an X hand, which is cool. But then I moved to New Mexico and they sign it like this. And so if you are doing a sign language detection model and you're training it, you might need to train it for people in different regions and people with different dialects and slang and all the things you would accommodate in a spoken language situation. So anyway, I wanted to share that because I think that's important. And yeah,
That's really neat. I'm
Avi
bring
and
my-
Julian were sharing.
Yeah, so here is the application that is running, which is gesture recognition. In this particular case, we're using the sign language, the ASL model that is pre-trained. However, gesture recognition could actually mean a lot of things. They also have, it's not in this GitHub repo document, but I did find it on their OpenVINO document. I don't know if I'll be able to find it this very second, but they had a page dedicated to gesture recognition in there as well. And in that scenario, it was driver awareness. They were doing gesture recognition for like a head nodding, for somebody falling asleep while driving. So again, this is where the model being separated from the application is pretty neat and pretty powerful. So in that, I mean, you could probably just Google it, but in that document, they were using this exact application, gesture recognition demo.python, and their input was a different model. It was distracted driving, I think, was another one. People looking away from the steering wheel, checking their cell phone or whatever, playing with the radio. So, you can make use of the application in different ways. It's pretty neat. So,
and I wondered too, so one of the things interesting about sign language is that a lot of the grammar is in your face. So like your eyebrows, this is a WH question versus just like a yes, no question. And so I wonder if you would have to have two separate models managing this if you were to actually recognize the language itself.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
That would work. Like that's an option to have two nets, one that has the face detection and one that does the body detection. Because basically under the hood, what we've seen, it's the pose tracking that David showed us earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that it has another layer on top, like literal layer of the neural net, which gives different meanings to groupings of muscle movements, right? That's what it's all about. Then it's two ways you could do the eyebrows thing. It's either you make a network, you train a network from scratch to get to that point, like when it's training to learn that as it goes. And it's tricky because the data, and it depends a lot on the data, it depends on the training parameters, depends on the architecture of the network, so that might not work. But in a practical setting, you could just have two networks and maybe interpret the results your way, like just have your code interpret the results. Or if you want to go like over the top, have an extra layer of neural nets that can do that, which can be a tiny neural net. It doesn't have to be as complicated as an object detection one, because this is pixels and stuff. It could be something way, way lighter. So yeah.
Yeah, so you can see here in my Docker file. So, or actually, well, this is the startup script, but I pushed this up to GitHub. So you're welcome to check it out.
Are you mentioning like that the output of one neural network is the input of the other neural network or not? Or they are run independently?
Yeah, so there's two ways. You can either just pipe them, like have the output of one be the input of the next one, or design the network in such a way that they converge to the results together. But that's way more sciencey, so to say. Like that's some PhD level kind of shit, basically.
Stuff. PhD level stuff.
Okay, got it.
And we've only got 2 minutes left. I'm not going to show this one off. It's not as engaging of a demonstration as the other ones, but this is a neat one as well. This repo here does contextual analysis on an input source, in this particular case, a web page, and it tries to use AI to read through some information and provide an answer to a question. So, in this repo, what you do is we're feeding in as a data source to the application, to the neural network, we're feeding in a Wikipedia page about the Muppets character Bert. And now that it has a body of knowledge to draw from, it's just a text-based application, but you type a question, and you can type, how old is Bert? And the AI will look through its provided content and try to answer the question. And I think I determined that Bert is now 40-something years old, 49 years old. You could say, what color is Bert? It will look through its available resources and try to make a guess as to what color he is, you know? So it's just a, it's not really a text-to-speech. It's more of a text analysis AI application. But it's pretty neat in that it can, you know, read and like perform kind of like the old, it's not that old, but IBM Watson, you know, ask it a question, it'll give you an answer based upon its, you know, what it knows, what it's been given as
maybe
data
we can
source.
Type Kenna asking questions with
exactly
to the Bert device. No?
It's funny because I actually, there's a problem I've been wanting to solve for years, and I was thinking as soon as David showed me this that it might solve it. But I look up a dictionary occasionally to think like, oh, what's the sign for this, you know? And they have a video dictionary that shows you the sign. But what doesn't work for me is that sometimes I remember the sign and I don't remember the meaning. It's like one I've been trying to remember for a long time is this one. And I'm like, what does that mean? I don't remember. But I can't ask the dictionary, like, what does this mean?
Mhm.
And so this would kind of allow you to do that with the right input. And if it
Yeah.
recognized it. So
Mhm.
it would be
So-
cool.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point to have a dictionary.
Yeah.
What's
So here's
the name
the-
of these? I don't know
well,
what
this
is
is
this.
the,
but-
I'm not sure. I mean, this comes from the BERT question answering Python demo. And so that's what I then containerized and dropped into here. Yeah, I don't know if there's a certain, I guess it's, populate the, it's a user provided URL to populate the context. And then the AI, tries to answer the question. I don't know that it has any specific name, really.
Would be fun to try with like a whole book or something, like
Yeah,
a huge
yeah, you can feed
body of content,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are at the top of the hour. We'll start wrapping it up here. But we made good progress. We showed quite a bit. This is all just stuff I've been hacking on over the past couple weeks, and I thought it was interesting. I thought it was worth showing off. I don't know that I've done any life-changing work here, but I thought it was pretty neat. We can detect Gatorade, we can detect ketchup, we can detect humans, and we can change it all on the fly. So, anything?
That's really cool.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions roll in? I wasn't watching chat too close while I was demoing.
So maybe I have a question,
Yeah.
like a generic one. So if I want to have a post detection, how is the easier way to start? So how we can decide? So going to have like a more hardware specific solution, more software specific solution. So I need a GPU or not? What's the decision for going to one direction or the other?
Christian, you want to answer that
Yeah, sure.
one?
Sure. Yeah. So you were talking about hardware. I think here, in this case of pose estimation, a RealSense camera or any depth camera would increase the precision by a lot.
So the one that
because
you
you
showed
don't-
on the what's on your desk?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So something like this would work much better because instead of pixels of color, it has pixels of distance, and it
Can you
doesn't
show
have
again?
to. Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's a RealSense D415, I think. It's pretty standard. It's just like the Kinect back in the day. Like, pixels are not colors, are distance. That's my easiest way of explaining this. Anyway, so yeah, for example, if you look at David right now, there's some things that are moving, and they shouldn't because he's not moving. That kind of stuff would be much better with a RealSense camera. But the other difference is it would make inference a bit faster. So maybe increase the frame rate by a bit because it doesn't have to take into account the color. It just has distance, and that's easier for the neural net. But then again, depends on what you want to run this on, depends on your budget, depends, because this works really well. If it's something pretty generic, it works, depends on how much precision you want to get out of this. If you want to track movement, for example, I don't know, if you want to have a virtual gym trainer or something like that, right? You might want to go with a RealSense. If you want something in a retail environment or something like that, just the Movidius and any USB camera or Pi camera would work great.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Mark, my screen share is all on the other. Do you want to bring up the job postings? We had that new one posted today.
Give me a sec that I'm sharing.
Oh, I have to kill mine.
Again.
Yep.
So Kenna, we opened today a new position.
Oh.
at Balena Careers, Fleet Reliability Engineer.
Ooh, I
remote
like.
position. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I like it. That sounds cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are searching as well a full stack engineer, remote position. And then we're searching technical sales lead, sales engineer, one in Europe, Middle East, zone or time zone, and another on America time zone. And we are searching site reliability engineer in European time zone and site reliability engineer in America time zone. And finally, we have the old but good design your own role that Christian apply from. But Kenna, what did you use to apply to work at Balena?
Oh, I actually found it through LinkedIn, and then thankfully there was a customer success role specific. So I applied that way, and we two of the roles there for my team. So come join us. We get to
exactly.
Great.
You join on the technical sales lead, right? You're gonna work with Kenna, another super cool people.
See my Tetris pose.
Yeah. What's this nonsense I see? Gary says, "Remove me, get me out of the stream, and just leave my stick man." What is this? Man, I don't know about that one. Yeah, I should run it all the time.
We have a question from Julian.
Yeah, where is that? Let me see here. While adding support for OpenVINO, have you experienced, or can we expect driver issues or glitches of any kind? That one is a both yes and no question. So I'm running everything on CPU acceleration at the moment, and that all works fine. It's actually quite performant. I mean, you see I was getting 30 frames per second.
By the way, sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, go ahead.
The newest generation, like the 11th generation of Intel CPUs, has added actually some of the stuff in my videos you can finally find in the CPU. So
Nice.
it's one of the only platforms you can get the 30 frames per second just on the CPU.
That's true. This is a current generation one, yeah.
But yeah, then again, any older one plus my videos would give you roughly the same performance.
Yeah. And so the drivers do have to be supported. So this current generation NUC, for example, is not fully all drivers supported by balenaOS yet, but that's in progress. So all the drivers do need to be in the OS, and I think we support right now up to the 9th or maybe the 10th. I think the 10th gen might be supported at the moment. So in that scenario, if you're using a NUC, you could make use of CPU or GPU up to either 9th or 10th. I'm not entirely sure, would have to double check, but this 11th gen is not there quite yet. The second piece of it is that RealSense. If you're using a RealSense camera, you might have to enable it by adding a kernel module. Some of them, I think, are in our native distribution. Some, I think, are not. So yours, Christian, was a D15?
Yeah.
D415?
415.
415, and yours was out of the box, ready to go, I think, right?
Yeah, as long as you set up the UDEV rules, which is really important because it won't work without them.
Sure.
Yeah, it works. It works flawlessly. So
yeah,
pretty out of the box.
The 435, I think, might not be in the kernel, and you might need to build a module for and just like insert the module, add the module. It might be there by now. I haven't checked that one in a while. So
thing is, they both running. There's a D4 board that does the processing for both cameras, both sensors of the cameras. So the stuff that connects to your USB, it's the same for both cameras.
Oh,
and
is
if
it?
Works
okay.
For that one, yeah. But they also have the tracking cameras the T265, I think, which is the SLAM one, which is completely different. And for that, you need other camera modules.
Yeah, exactly.
The depth cameras will all work with the same. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Perfect. So yeah, the answer is it depends.
Yes, no, maybe, and it's complicated, basically.
All of the above. So
out of the box.
But good question, Julian. Though.
As Travis loves your skeleton overlay, we have a question from Gary. That says, can any of us remove David from the video?
Yeah, just get me out of here. Just leave.
Exactly. Get out of here.
Get me out and just leave the skeleton. It's way better that way. I look a lot better in stick figure.
Not sure if
get me out. Get me out.
Not sure if with Always AI we got a demo where Jason, right? There was a developer advocate at that time. Was showing only the skeleton. I'm not sure.
I can't remember if he had only the skeleton or not.
Maybe that's the episode 10. So
yeah,
it's
that's an early one.
40 something.
That's a lot of episodes ago. Yeah, I don't remember. All right. Well, I think we are good. We covered quite a bit.
I think it was great.
As usual, if you have any questions, just reach out and let us know. Other than that, I think it's have a good weekend, everybody.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks for joining, Christian and Kenna. Looking forward to see you more.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Kenna.
Bye.
Bye.